Meet Isaiah Thomas, a 5'9" guard who was an All-Star in 2017, and not only that, but finished 5th in MVP voting that same season. Yet just a year later, he was one of the least efficient players, and not to mention arguably the worst defender in the league. These horrendous performances got him out of the league within 5 years.
They gave up on me.
In today's video, we'll uncover what went wrong and how he's making a return to the NBA.
Since 1990, there's only been one player that's been drafted with the 60th pick who's became an All-Star. That player is Isaiah Thomas, who was drafted late by the Kings in 2011, but for good reason. You see, the average height for an NBA player is about 6'7", and well, Isaiah's 10 inches below that threshold. But what's special about Isaiah is his quick first step that gives him an advantage towards bigs. Nevertheless, most organizations put their second-round picks to use in the G League. Lucky for Isaiah, the Kings were willing to give some playing time.
By March, Isaiah was already in the starting lineup.
Isaiah Thomas been superb since getting into the starting lineup.
And by the time his rookie season concluded, he averaged 12 points and placed 7 in Rookie of the Year honors, racking up 28 votes. Coming that close to winning that prestigious award when being the last pick is insane. Isaiah was getting better and better every year until the Kings decided to trade Isaiah to the Suns for essentially nothing. The trade made no sense whatsoever, with the Suns already having 2 great guards, Goran Dragic and Eric Bledsoe. Thankfully for Isaiah, his stint in Phoenix was short.
The next part of his journey was by far the best. When the news broke that Isaiah was coming to Boston, everyone was excited.
I remember the night he got traded from Phoenix to the Celtics, and I literally jumped out of my chair and I was like, yes, yes, yes. I texted him and I said, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to your basketball career.
It seems crazy to hear that from a guy that was a big rival of the Celtics, and back then he didn't want anything to do with the Celtics.
He came second and 6th man of the year and made it to the playoffs, falling short to LeBron's Cavs. The following season was one of Isaiah's bests. He was leading his team with a career high in points and assists, as well as getting selected for his first All-Star appearance.
The Boston Celtics, Isaiah Thomas!
With this, he became the 9th player under 6 feet to become an All-Star. By the time the playoffs rolled around, Isaiah's Celtics matched up against the Hawks, and in Game 3, he had his career high 42 points.
4 to shoot, a bomb from Thomas.
They ended up losing in 6, but the Celtics coach Brad Stevens saw how rapidly Isaiah was improving and developed a new offense to fit around Isaiah. This new game plan proved to be a success, with Isaiah averaging a new high of 28 points. He also broke multiple records, like having the most points in franchise history for a fourth quarter.
Gets it to Isaiah, deep 3.
Having 29, certifying him as the clutchest player in the NBA. That same season, he made the All-Star team for the 2nd consecutive time, as well as coming 5th in MVP votes. Nevertheless, Isaiah carried his team to the 1st seed, which was the highest they've been in about 10 years.
They flew past the Bulls in the first round, and in the second round versus the Wizards, Isaiah had his career high of 53 points in Game 2.
Isaiah Thomas has cracked 50.
It was a rough series where it went to 7 with the Celtics pulling out. Their next matchup was a familiar foe, the Cavs. In retrospect, they stood no chance. Isaiah had one of his worst playoff performances ever and only played 2 games that series, due to a hip injury that he sustained earlier in the season. Over the playoffs, it progressed from bad to worse, and it wouldn't have got this awful, but Isaiah refused to get surgery and play through the injury. After getting eliminated in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Celtics started the season off trading Isaiah to the Cavs for Kyrie Irving.
Isaiah missed the first few months of the season because of that injury, but when he got back, he wasn't the same. Like we said, what makes Isaiah special is his quick post moves versus his taller defenders, but that injury made him unable to do much of anything. Since the game plan in Boston was built around him, it didn't really show his defensive struggles, but when he came to Cleveland, it brought all that to life. Not only that, when Isaiah Thomas was on the court, the Cavs' box plus minus lowered severely.
After Isaiah's tenure with the Cavs, he played on several other teams, whether it be for a veteran minimum, 2-way deal, or even a 10-day contract, although none were as memorable as him with the Celtics. Flash forward to now, where tweets recently came out regarding Isaiah Thomas attending workouts for the Kings with other free agents. If these talks don't fall through, this could be the return of Isaiah Thomas. Yes, he had other stints with the team, but there's something special about the Kings. When you think about the team Isaiah played with the longest, it was by far the Kings. They believed in him when they drafted him and when they made the change to start him permanently.
This shows that the Kings are the only team that respects Isaiah. Let's face it, when the Celtics found out that Isaiah suffered an injury, they immediately sent him off to Cleveland. All I'm saying is that being 35 years old, it's not too late to get a spot on a team. Heck, even Chris Paul's doing it right now, being short and on the older side. If Isaiah Thomas is going to get a role on a team, it should most definitely be with the Kings.